Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly reading for the collective consciousness, which means the overall general population for the week of April 17th through the 23rd. Okay, as you know, I'm not going to talk too much. I do always like to jump right into these things, but please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Like this video, subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this content. I also am doing daily shorts, so I've got a lot of content coming out for you, and the more subscribers I get, the more likes I get, the more content I can put out, and I would just really appreciate it. And any comments, suggestions, feedback about how I do the videos, what content you do want to see, if this resonates with you, any of the above or more, please put it in the comments below. So all right, I'm gonna start. I'm actually using 4 decks. One you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, but the other 3 are kind of off camera. But I am using 4 decks for this and switching off. They're already pre-shuffled. And so it makes it easier for me to get through the reading. All right, let's jump right into it, guys. And let me know you like this spread as well, okay? I believe this is pretty similar to the one from last week. All right, let's start with action needed, okay? Okay, we have building blocks. Let me get these straight here so you guys can see. Action needed, building blocks. Okay, guys, this is about building a foundation. All right, so obviously this is an action oriented because it's under the action needed, but I definitely feel a huge call to a lot of us about setting the foundation and really starting our new lives, okay? I know we've been feeling this change energy, and I can't wait to see what comes through in the change slot here with the change card there, and I know last week, I think the chaos and conflict kind of came up in the challenge there. So guys, these changes are coming to fruition. They are manifesting themselves physically. They're starting to manifest themselves environmentally. Some of you guys are moving. Some of you guys are, starting new lives. You've ended relationships, starting new relationships, have gone through something, and just starting anew. So basically Spirit is saying, like, you have to start, I know these things are kind of like happening organically, happening in alignment. They're just happening in flow, right? But we need to take action in the way of setting ourselves up for all of these changes, okay? So there are certain things that I feel that we're not doing. So if you are setting yourself up for a new relationship, are you healed from the last one? Okay, that would be one thing. If you're overcoming health issues, what is your new life going to look like? Are you going to implement new health changes? Like things like that. So really look at the building blocks of setting up the foundation and doing what you need to do to start your new life. Like what action can you take to start your new life? That's what Spirit is asking us. Okay, so we have magical child for our needs. It's in the light. So we have seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Yeah, magical child is always about, need is about kind of like fun or innocence, finding the magic in everything, finding the beauty in everything, as this is saying. So I definitely feel a need for us to be playful this week, for us to be a little bit more carefree, a little bit more fun, tapping into that. And I really do feel like our souls are calling for that. So this really is supposed to be more of a social month, but social in the way of just, I don't mean just going to the grocery store and talking to people at the grocery store. I mean actually getting out there and planning a fun activity, doing something maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone would be helpful. Something that maybe you've enjoyed when you were a child, something that will really call to your inner child, for example. All of those things are definitely what Spirit is calling you to do. Challenge, creativity, interesting. Okay, so we might have some creative blocks this week, okay? So blocks in creativity, blocks in, and because it's yellow, let's link to the solar chakra, which is really linked to confidence, a power structure. 3 is always about creativity, right? So it all very much aligns. So what I will say about this is I'm feeling like a lot of writer's blocks. I'm feeling like a lot of like really frustrated that you can't produce, by the way, everybody has some creative aspects to like whatever they do. Including, even if you feel like you have like a really analytical job, there's got to be some creative aspects of building something. So maybe you're an accountant, but you have your own business, so you have to build new channels of how people can find you, for example. That's a little bit creative, right? Finding different things that will bring new customers in, that kind of thing. So I definitely do feel like a lot of blocks in that area. So wouldn't be the greatest week to start a really creative pursuit. And don't worry if you're feeling like a little frustrated if you can't produce this week. That's the message I'm getting. What's a surprise? This one is always interesting. Okay, we have the Stargazer. Set your sights higher. Okay, interesting. Not like a, I don't really like labeling things good or bad, but it feels like we surprised ourselves this week with really tapping into, and maybe not necessarily going through with, but really visualizing and seeing our potential. So we really surprise ourselves with, it almost feels like, because it's like next to each other, it's kind of like all of your energy doesn't go to your creative pursuits this week, but it really kind of goes to, like your almost like your creative outlet is more towards like visual, like your feminine energy is more about visualizing this week and really seeing your potential and more planning. So it does make sense why the creativity kind of goes on the back burner a little bit, because our energy is more here. So we really surprised ourselves this week of really being able to see our potential, and all of our confidence goes here too. So I definitely do feel that we are really starting to see ourselves for who we are, and really like loving ourselves, and really do finding that self-confidence in what we can accomplish in life. So that's very interesting that it feels like it's a creative block, but also at the same time, it like the energy gets, thwarted somewhere else. And this is actually a good place for it to be sent, basically, because we really are starting to understand and see our potential, and it's a really positive surprise, okay, in my book at least. Okay, so any issues that are arising this week? Okay, come to the edge. All right, this one is always about fear, really about to take the leap, but the fear is kind of stopping us, and that's what I feel like is a big issue. So some of you guys, you're gonna feel like there's something that you kind of have to do, and you want to, you desire it, and you want to do it, or you need it. But the fear is really going to stop a lot of us this week. So that's going to be a really big issue that we're going to really have to work on. Guys, I'm not somebody that says, so I follow the, love, every decision, everything you choose, you're either choosing love or you're choosing fear. That's absolutely true, okay? But I don't expect people to be fearless. I mean, I think that's crazy. And I don't shame people for feeling fear. I mean, it makes no sense that sometimes the spiritual community I see out there is really putting people down for low vibrational energies such as, fear, anger, shame, all that kind of stuff. Like, you're a human being, and fear just tells us, as our emotions always tell us, they always tell us a story and tell us everything we need to know. So if you're really scared to do something, that usually means you should do it, because it means you really want it. And it's just really scary. And so I definitely do see us wrestling with that fear throughout the week, and it's something that we're going to have to combat. But we'll see in the overall outcome if we get to that place. And again, no shame here if you don't. You are a human being, you're allowed to feel fear. And most people, I would say maybe all people, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? It's okay to feel it, is basically what I'm trying to say. So you're going to wrestle with that back and forth. At least some of you guys are, okay? And again, it's okay. Okay, so what do we need to reflect on this week? Okay, so this actually, I picked it in the shadow. Acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Okay, so this is how I'm interpreting this. This is about looking at, so it's funny that we need innocence, right? We need to tap into that magical child. But this is also saying, like, don't forget you're human too. Don't forget every time we're pointing fingers at other people and saying how horrible they are, or how they've done us wrong and all that stuff. And by the way, I'm big on accountability too. Hold people accountable for sure. This isn't what it's talking about. This is basically saying, like, you're no angel either, right? So yes, this is actually accountability on ourselves, not necessarily accountability on other people. But again, if other people need to be held accountable, other people need to be held accountable. But I really do feel like a lot of reflecting, which is always an inner journey, always an introspective journey, is always reflected back to us. And this week, we're really figuring out and kind of seeing, like, okay, where are my faults? Where are my flaws? How do I not show up to this relationship in the best way possible? How have I contributed to the demise of this? And that kind of thing. So I definitely do feel like a lot of reflecting in that way and putting some accountability on ourselves. Again, not talking about abusive relationships or not saying don't hold people accountable, but for the forefront of these energies that are kind of coming up, it kind of tells me this is a week of reflecting on ourselves, okay? Ooh, I love this. Is this any more clear? This cannot be misconstrued. What should you focus on this week, guys? Follow your dreams. I mean, come on. I mean, this is, I mean, compared, not compared, what do I want to say? Oh, connected here with the action needed in the diagonal, building blocks for a new life. And your new life includes following your dreams and making sure you're taking steps to go in that direction. And then, of course, we have that stargazer card here in the surprise setting, set your sights higher. So you are seeing your potential. You are starting to visualize things. Things are starting to come into fruition. I mean, this is such a perfect card, isn't it? I love it so much. Okay, what do we have? Responsibilities, not the greatest, right? But let's see what we have to be responsible for this week, which in this kind of is like the reflect, right? Where we kind of look at ourselves and reflect on, you know, how we can stay accountable. This is Oracle, wait for important information. Okay, so this is, as far as responsibilities go, the way that I'm interpreting this is, not rushing into things, okay? So we have a responsibility to use our discernment. We have a responsibility to use our intuition. We have a responsibility to weigh our decisions and take our time. If there is, what I can say that's really popping out from spirit today, today, but for this week, is don't rush into any decisions, okay? Don't rush. Be responsible with certain things. But I feel like it'll be obvious for a lot of us and I'm getting the word pressure, so there definitely might be some pressure to go through with something, you know, like sign this or commit to this. But the responsible thing and where we should I guess say respect ourselves, is to really, I don't want to say have patience with it, because it's not like things aren't going your way. It's more about just like waiting for all the important information to kind of come out before making your decision, and definitely weighing on your intuition, weighing on your discernment, okay? Which is also like your logic and that kind of thing. So don't jump into anything. It's definitely jumping out to me that way. Do not jump into anything. Like somebody is pressuring you to do something. You have to do everything in your power to say no, stick up for yourself, stand up for yourself, say I need more time, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Money and finances. Ooh, not the greatest. A change in the wind. I'm feeling, not shocked with a lot of the changes that are happening. If it's a move, if it's health issues, yeah, it could be positive, could be negative, but I do feel a change. So that's why I'm kind of saying like not the greatest, because it could be a change either way. But what I can say is be mindful, and the fact that it's actually next to this important, if you get anything from the reading, please take this into the week of, not jumping into things, okay? So this could also mean financial stuff, okay? So do not jump into, like, for example, an investment that you don't know too much about, or jumping into a job that somebody's offering you, but you don't know too much, maybe the commission is up in the air and you don't understand it or something like that. Do not rush into things, okay? And then again, the money and finances could go either way, okay? Okay, so let's see. What is changing? A lot, right? Okay, so we have the saboteur, which is basically the sabotager. Induces sorry, I have to put it down. This is in the shadow as well. We're getting a lot of shadow, which is not a bad thing, but it's definitely a lot of reflective behavior, and it's a lot of kind of like reflecting back to the ego and making, keeping your ego in check. Induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Okay, so I see this as a positive thing. Induces self-destructive behavior for the desire to undermine others. Okay, so I definitely do feel like it is, we're getting that part of ourselves under control. Not to say that you guys are out there trying to like sabotage everybody, but you could be like sabotaging yourself, for example. But it almost feels like, to me, like letting ourselves be happy. Like letting ourselves believe that things are too good to be true. Letting ourselves be the dreamers, right? We have follow your dreams here. and not sabotaging too much anymore. And if we are, I would definitely say that's even though it's under the change and we already have something under the reflect, it is something to reflect on this week of where we sabotage ourselves, where we think everything is going to go wrong, where we feel like we participate in self-destructive behavior for ourselves and for others, okay? But I do feel like because it's under the change, we can see it as more of a positive because we're keeping that, like I said, that ego part of us in check. So I definitely do feel like the self-destructive behavior and ways to sabotage yourself are coming to an end, or at least we're being aware of it and consciously attempting to, not do that anymore, right? So I see it as a positive thing, and again, that it's under change. It's most likely coming into fruition, and you're actively trying to change it, right? Okay, so we have more change, right? Friends, interesting relationship change. Guys, I definitely feel like this isn't so much about friendships ending or beginning. It's more about relationships changing. And what I mean by that is that the way that you interact with certain people are definitely going to change shape. So that could be something as small as maybe you talk to your best friend every day, but this week gets kind of crazy and maybe you talk every other day or don't, maybe talk twice a week or something like that. It could be something as minor as that, or it could be something a little bit more massive, which I do feel like it's definitely going to be a little bit on the for most of us, I would say, the smaller type changes. But it could be going from friends to lovers, for example, with somebody that maybe you've been friends with for like a long time. To me, that's massive. But like I said, for the majority of you guys, it's really going to be mostly little changes. So watch out for that. And that doesn't surprise me with all the change kind of going on in your lives. Okay. Romantic connection, trust in the unknown. Okay, so Spirit is just asking us to really let go of any expectations that we have. Makes sense with like the friends stuff too, is just kind of like, letting go and just trusting that everything is going to work itself out. So any changes that we do have within our friendships and within our romantic connections, we really need to just trust that everything is going to work out for itself. But I don't see anything like super major happening in a romantic connections this week. Like, I would definitely say like romance is not the center or the focus of the week. But anything that kind of happens within your romantic dynamic, if you're dating, for example, and you're not necessarily attached to somebody, and it's getting really frustrating, Spirit is just asking you to really trust in the unknown and trust that everything is going to work itself out. Okay, what's important here? Okay, to be fair. Okay, it's important to be balanced. It's important to be fair. It's important that, you're working hard, but you're playing hard as well. Don't forget the play up here with the magical child. Funny, I don't necessarily pick up anything. I know I sometimes read money and finances as far as like career goes, but I'll be honest, I didn't necessarily feel like it's like a career change for us this week. Could be part of the action needed and the major overall energy of the change that's been coming in the last few months. Could be changing of jobs or careers or that kind of thing. So yeah, it could relate. But again, I felt like money and finances was definitely center stage here. But I feel like this is more so about your overall wellness, not necessarily love, not necessarily career, but it's just important that you feel emotionally balanced, that you feel well, that you're actually taking care of yourself on a daily basis, that you're actually making sure that all the changes that are happening in your life, if you just move, that everything is that you set up your cable, that you set up your internet, that your kids are okay, and whatever it actually is. So that's what it feels like to me. Is like important is making sure that you're balanced in your everyday and not making yourself stressed, not making yourself anxious, and just making sure you're making the time to really work, play, and having, all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Okay. All right. What else we got here? Health and wellness. We have judge. Have another balance here. Balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Exactly. So to be fair could also be, justice, and being the judge, basically. So to me, these all symbolize balance here, okay? Rebalancing justice, like I said. And so, and exactly what I just said is that I really feel like This balancing is more on your health and your wellness, and it's more based on, are you okay emotionally, spiritually, mentally? Is that all balanced? You know, that kind of thing. So it's really about focus on you, okay? And let's see the overall outcome, what we got going on here. Okay, interesting. For an overall outcome, we have financial discipline. All right, so like I said, I didn't feel great things. I'm not gonna lie, don't need to scare you guys. When I pulled the money and finances here, definitely feels like a change. And this just solidifies it, okay? So if I can sum up, you know, what is one of the bigger things for the week besides the waiting for important information with our responsibilities is having financial discipline, okay? So that is, in my opinion, financial wellness is a thing, okay? Financial wellness is absolutely a thing, and I feel like it's all connected, okay? So this is also about, am I paying my bills? Does my new lifestyle, where I'm built back to the beginning, where I'm setting my foundation? If you moved, for example, are you in over your head with bills? Did you move to a place where you really can't afford it? What do you need to financially figure out in order to make your new life better? Okay, so that's what really that's about. That's an interesting one here, but the cards don't lie. So, okay guys, it's an interesting week. Got a few ups and downs going here and there, but overall a pretty great week. Like I said, if there's anything, it's the financial discipline here. It's the wild card. It was the last one, but it really, really jumps out. Do not beat yourself over blocks, of creativity. Tap into your inner child. Have some fun. Tap into your innocence. Reflect on, your flaws and your faults and how you're showing up in your relationships. Keep the balance in your health and wellness, and keep the balance in your life in general. So, okay, guys, those were some highlights there. I hope this resonated with you. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And like I said in the beginning, like this video if it resonates with you. And please also subscribe to this channel. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.